Hello Wahoo Warriors, this is Bill and I'm back with another battle report. This time we're going to be playing Saga. I'm playing the Irish against Tim's Jomsvikings. As you can see here, I've got my Irish battle board along with some Gripping Beast Irish dice, so that's pretty cool. I got those in the mail the other day. As you watch this video, you'll kind of see that originally we had planned on doing live audio, but the audio screwed up because I got a new microphone and I forgot that it was battery powered and I forgot to turn it on. So you're getting a voiceover instead. So here's my footsore miniatures and a few Crusader miniatures, but mostly footsore, and they're kind of in various stages of painting. I'm getting those all painted up for my Irish. None of them have shields yet, but and hey, there's Tim. Tim's playing as Jomsvikings. He's also in kind of various stages of getting his stuff painted. He probably said something very clever there, but we'll never know what that was because I forgot to turn on the microphone. You can also kind of see there, I've got a new battle mat. Went online and purchased a Frontline Games or the one of the fat mats, which is pretty cool. This is kind of going to be the view for the rest of the battle. I kind of just set things up on the board, and we're going to see kind of everything that we do during the game. Oh, there, I got my new WahooWarrior dice that Tim made some WahooWarrior dice for us, and we're going to start selling those. Green is my favorite color, so he got me some green dice. He's got some cool white ones, and then you'll see in a later report, I actually played 2 games this day on the 28th, and one of them was with Tim, and then I played one game of bolt action with Sean later on. This is the beginning of the game, and we're rolling off, but earlier you may have seen that we both kind of bid on terrain, because in this game, typically when you play Saga, you each bid a D3 pieces of terrain, and then whatever that number is how many pieces of terrain are on the board. So I bid a 6, which becomes a 3 on a D3, and then Tim bid for 1, so we have 4 pieces. So I went ahead and put a woods in the middle because the Irish like to shoot things. And then Tim, he's putting another forest somewhere. I think he even moves this way back into the corner to where we can't even see it. But he really likes to not have very much terrain, and he really hates having pieces of terrain on the board. Great, now my wife is probably texting me. Yep, she is. No worries. But he likes having no terrain. And I like having tons of terrain because I can actually make things shoot out of terrain with the ability called Sons of Donna, which is pretty cool, which anybody within short, which is 4 inches of a piece of terrain, that unit, I count the number of models in that unit, and then half of that number is how many shots I get at the unit. So there's the 4 pieces of terrain. There's 2 woods, a house, and then kind of a ruins thing. And I'm going to basically kind of try my strategy as the Irish, because I'm very shooty, but I'm not very combat oriented. Whereas Tim's army is very combat oriented, and it's used... I kind of wish the audio was on here, because a lot of his battle board is based off of like a Fury or something like that. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll look it up again. But basically, if I don't allow him to do things, he gets points towards that on his battle board. It's like a Fury or some kind of ability. And the Jomsvikings, they get to pretty much the entire right side of their battle board is just filled with abilities that they spend points on, and then those points really can wreck your lunch. Let's just put it that way. So at the beginning of the game, I had to deploy first, so I just deployed my warlord there, kind of a little bit back from the line to deploy on. And then typically, I think the game goes: you deploy warlords, and then you deploy levies, and then warriors, and then Hearthguard. But we were just going to go with a simple game here. We're probably doing a lot of things wrong. Right here is where Tim's talking to me, and I really wish the audio was still here, about the fact that he has a priest in this game. And the priest that he only has like one attack, but he generates extra Saga dice every turn. I think every turn he was running like probably 7 or so Saga dice. It was ridiculous. So um, it kind of made you go, wow, this guy has a boatload of dice and he never loses Saga dice. And we were probably playing it maybe wrong. I have no idea. He could also get rid of fatigue. It was pretty cool. But yeah, he was doing that. It was pretty awesome. We're getting to the point in the video where I'm going to probably speed it up to double time just because of the fact that I want to get through this in less than an hour and hopefully like a half an hour. So I'm going to speed things up as we play this game because there's a lot of things going on, and without the audio, it's going to be kind of pointless to go through every detail when I am going to probably be guessing at a few things. So here we go. All right, back into it. Here we go. I'm deploying my levies. I'm going to put them right up on the line because they can fire their slings 12 inches, and I'm a very shooty army, so I like to use abilities on them. I'm pretty sure that right there that was some warriors from Tim. He went very warrior and Hearthguard heavy. He didn't have any levies or anything. It was just like lots of warriors and then big units of Hearthguard. I went ahead and put my dogs unit around my warlord there, as you can see. They kind of bubble wrap him and protect him. He put up another unit of warriors, and then I put up a unit of javelins. Now, Tim is kind of marking where 4 inches or short outside of those woods are so that he can deploy his units outside of that so my Sons of Donna ability doesn't hit him. And as you can see, he deployed a big unit of like 8 Hearthguard there. Then I went ahead and deployed my painted warriors with javelins. All my warriors units have javelins except for the ones that I turned into dogs. He went ahead and put, as you can see on the top right there, another unit of Hearthguard. Then I went ahead and put my Hearthguard with Dane axes on the top, and then I deployed my 2 Curiad units, which are technically Hearthguard, but what I do is I spend 2 points on Hearthguard, and then I can create 2 Curiad units, which are my heroes. They kind of act like mini warlords, where they get 3 attacks. They can ignore the first hit that they get, kind of like a warlord, but they can't put their hits onto other units to absorb damage the way that warlords do. And they get 2 javelin shots or 3 attacks, which is pretty cool because they kind of run around and shoot at stuff with 2 attacks, which is great. So it's the first turn. I get to roll 3 dice in defense, and then Tim gets to roll something like 7 or 8 dice because his priest really gives him a lot of great abilities. He can take fatigue, as you see that green die right next to his priest there. Gives him every fatigue he takes. I think he gets to re-roll a die or something like that, or roll more dice. So anyway, he's moving up units there. I think he's moving up his Hearthguard, big unit of Hearthguard there, and then he's moving up his warriors. His battle board gives him abilities that are pretty cool. Like one of them's like he can move 2 of his units out. Either that, or I give him one of his little Fury tokens, or it's probably not called Fury. You guys can go ahead and correct me and laugh at me for the whole video because it's probably not called Fury. But anyway, so that was his turn. He left a lot of stuff on defense and just kind of moved him up while staying out of 4 inches of those forests so that I can't use Sons of Donna on him. I went ahead and rolled. I had a pretty bad time the entire game as I couldn't roll a stag worth a darn, which is like my basically the equivalent of a 6 on a die. Um, it's the hardest one to get, the rare die or die facing. So I did get a few birds from time to time, which there's an ability called the triple chicken that the Irish like to do that really affects shooting positively. So he moved his guys, I think, within 12 inches of me. So I was probably just going to unload on him with some shooting attacks from my levies. But and I think I actually did do the triple chicken ability on him, either that or I at least did a double chicken ability on him because I may not have had all three. The cool thing for Tim, though, was he had a bunch of defensive abilities up on his Jomsviking board, so I was only able to kill one of his Hearthguard. So it really wasn't super effective because he countered it really well. As you can see, my javelin throwing warriors came up and threw 4 javelins at his guys because I get 1 attack for every 2 warriors. That's kind of how shooting works in the game. Then I moved my other javelin-toting warrior unit up to shoot at his warriors. And I got 3 hits on him, as you can see. See all those 6s and 5s I'm rolling already on those WahooWarrior dice? They're pretty great. Then I moved up my Curiad, which is my hero, and he takes 2 shots. He got 1 hit, and I think he saved it, so... I did, it looks like I knocked off a couple of his warriors, but I wasn't able to really do a whole lot. Then I kind of danced around here, took another couple shots, and I missed all of them at his Hearthguard. And on the second shooting there, at the end of the second move, I take a fatigue, which is no good because now he's going to use that against me. Then at the end of my turn, you can see I did the We Obey on my dogs, and then kind of moved my warlord over. Here's Tim kind of figuring out what he's going to do on his battle board during his turn. This is like the top of turn 2, I'm pretty sure. So, because he's moved once and then I moved once, so this is top of turn 2. And he's got his battle board all loaded up. You can see there he's got 4, 5, 6, 7 dice on the board. It's crazy. And he's spending stuff and doing all sorts of stuff. He gets at least 7 dice a turn, if not 8, which is pretty ridiculous. He's moving that other warrior unit up right behind his Hearthguard there. His Hearthguard are going right into my warriors. And it's kind of one of those situations where I'm like, well, crap, I'm probably dead. So he comes into me with a bunch of attacks. Like a moron, I don't have any abilities on my battle board defensively. He does a boatload of attacks, does a ton of wounds. I think I did 3 damage back to him, and he may have saved a couple. No, actually, I don't think he did. I killed all 3 of those guys. He killed a bunch of my guys, but I did a bunch of saves because I got a bunch of 5s and 6s, and I think I had like 3 guys left alive, yeah. So that was pretty cool. I thought I was a goner, and then I rolled, I think, 5 or 6 5s and 6s to save in melee. So that was very frustrating for Tim, and he was like, dang it. So now he's trying to figure out at this point, because he's got 2 fatigue on him, and I've got 1 fatigue there. He's trying to figure out which unit he's going to assault next, because he really wanted to wipe out that warrior unit to decrease my dice, because I won't generate as many Saga dice. And then there's Tim's back, because he's kind of figuring out what he was going to do. He's stepping in front of the camera, but that's cool. Yeah, he's deciding that if I go after your Curiad, I could do that. I could go after your warriors, and then he's trying to figure out what his Hearthguard should do. And then I think he just decided, the heck with it, I'm just going right into your warriors again. So we're spending fatigue. I think I made myself harder to hit, and we countered each other a little bit. So he's going after me, trying to hit me. I think he only got like 2 hits on me, and I think I did the same. And then I saved one of the wounds, I think, and then I only took like 1 damage. So he's going into me again, spending another Saga die just to try and finish off these last two guys in this warrior unit because they're making saves like crazy. And then, so we're both spending fatigue. He's attacking me, and then I was able to save one of the guys again. And as you can see, he backs off again. And it's very frustrating for Tim because I'm rolling really well, and that one single last warrior with the javelin is just sitting there laughing at his guys, I guess. But, I felt kind of bad for Tim because by all accounts, that guy should have been dead a while ago. So I lucked out there, and just good rolling saved the day. And I still got that one lone guy there. Then he went in with his warriors to my other units and did some damage to me. And I did the same to him, did a little bit of damage. His warriors killed some of my warriors. My warriors backed off because they had to, because I lost more guys than he did. Which was crazy because he actually did have less guys in that unit than I did, but I just rolled terrible. So I went ahead and rolled my dice for the bottom of turn 2 here. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do because I've got a whole bunch of Hearthguard in my backfield. I've got some warriors up in my grill. And then I've got a whole bunch more warriors over there in front of his priest that are coming after me. And I've got one warrior unit pretty much destroyed. And then I've got another warrior unit that's hurting. And then, there's one ability that he does all the time where he kills like 3 guys per turn. And I think at this point my levies are down several guys. I think they've only got like 5 or so guys left in the unit, or 5 or 8 or something like that. So anyway, I'm shooting at his guys. I think that's my Cured, which is the hero, the Hearthguard hero. And he's kind of going at it. Or actually, I think that may have just been my javelins that did that. I can't remember, but some shooting got him. Oh, you know what? That was probably Sons of Donna, because he was close enough to the forest to shoot at him. So I probably did that and killed a warrior that way. And then I went ahead and shot a few guys at him. My levies and my warriors who, they're going to throw a couple javelins, I'm pretty sure, and just kind of trying to whittle down his guys over there and get rid of them. And then I moved my Hearthguard with Dane Axes over to kind of support my Warlord at this point. I went ahead and then charged his remaining couple warriors with my Curiad, my hero, and removed his warrior unit. Now at this time he's still rolling like 6 or 7 dice just because he's got that crazy priest that does all sorts of fancy stuff. He's still got those Hearthguard in my backfield, and he's still got a solid unit of Hearthguard up there, and then that warrior unit on the right hand side by his priest. He's moving down his Hearthguard unit to kind of get ready to counter whatever I might do. There's Tim moving his other Hearthguard unit into my remaining warrior. So he managed to kill me off. And then, or actually, I'm pretty sure, I think I killed one of his guys and then didn't die. That's crazy. So he had to back off. I thought I died, but apparently I killed one of his guys and he had to back off. And then he was like, yeah, that was probably it, because I think he went back in to kill him off because that was a fluke. Yep. So I think he pretty much kills him this time. Yep, but I managed to back him off once, which had to be incredibly frustrating for Tim. That last guy in that unit was just absolutely fighting like crazy to fight off those Hearthguard, which is amazing. That guy got a field promotion for sure. Next game he'll get an extra purity seal or something. Anyway, that was turn 3 for Tim, and now it's bottom of turn 3 for me. He didn't have a whole lot to do other than get his Hearthguard over there, and then he used his special ability after moving his Hearthguard a bunch to pull the fatigue off of them with his Warlord. That was one of his things where he either gets to do it or he raises his levels on his battle board, and then he can do nasty things to me. As you can see, he only has like one or two of those markers on his board right now, because I went out of my way to just kind of let him do what he wanted to do and not to let his power creep come up, and then, you know, because otherwise it unlocks the right side of that board and then really bad things happen for me. I think I rolled the triple chicken this time. As you can see, I've got some really good abilities there that can really wreck the day for Tim there. So I'm moving up. I don't have many of my levies left because he keeps using that ability to kill off 3 guys per turn just by spending 2 of his dice, his Saga dice. So that really hurts me. But I'm moving up my javelin guys, and there's going to be 3 attacks there, and I'm using the triple chicken, which is it's basically any 5s and 6s count as 2 hits. So I rolled a 5 and a 6, because usually it's just 6s, but one of the abilities, I think it's Eagle Eye, gives me a +1 on my dice, so then 5s and 6s count as hits. And then the other ability, I can't remember the name of it, but it basically skips step 4 of the attack sequence, so then he can't roll defense dice against those attacks. So it did generate 4 attacks because of, or 4 hits because of that instead of the 2, but he does get to roll defense dice against the other 2 that are generated. That's a big thing that some people kind of don't understand, is you do get to roll the defense dice over those attacks that are generated. But I did manage to kill several of his Hearthguard off, as you can see, because I managed to shoot with my warriors, and then I'm pretty sure my Curid went up there and shot him a lot too. So he's down to 3 Hearthguard. This is top of turn 4 for him, and he's just coming up with those Hearthguard to do a lot of damage to my Curid, my hero. And he manages to kill him, which is a bummer for me. But, you know, it was a nice trade because I was able to kill quite a few of his Hearthguard off there with that shooting and having that triple chicken attack, which, you know, I got 4 damage, and I'm pretty sure I killed 4 of his Hearthguard off because he didn't make any of his... because 2 of those he did get a armor save on, and he didn't manage to make them. So now he moved his Hearthguard up to make it so my Warlord and my Warriors have to deal with them. My dogs, which are classified as Warriors, but they move 12 inches instead of... they move long, which is 12 inches, instead of 6, which is medium. And they're defense 3, so that's kind of the hit they take, is they're really easy to kill, but they're really fast, which is kind of cool. I really like the dogs. They're fun models, and it's kind of cool to think that my Irish Warlord has a bunch of dogs as bodyguards. So even though, I mean, sometimes I'm like, well, I'm kind of wasting the fact that they have 12-inch movement, but oh well. In a scenario with a bunch of objectives, I think they'll probably come in handy. So then I went ahead and I attacked his Hearthguard with my dogs, which, you know, I figure he's got 4 attacks at this point because he's got like 2 guys there. And it didn't really matter to me that much. I was just like, I'll just lose a couple dogs here and kill his guys off, which worked out pretty good. I went in with my Warlord too and managed to just kind of kill those guys off with the dogs and the Warlord. But then I've got fatigue, you know, so got to do what I got to do. I also charged in with my remaining warriors on his other Hearthguard unit, which was probably a terrible idea, but I did it anyway. Went ahead and charged in there. I'm sure I probably lose a few guys here. Yep, so I lost a few, and I think he was down to 1 guy, and I was like, dang it. So I killed a couple, he killed a couple. So, and then I went ahead and shot him again with my Curid, but I'm pretty sure I didn't hit, so that was frustrating for me. And then I think I charged him again with my warrior unit just because I was like, it's do or die time. And I managed to kill him. And he only killed one of my guys. So I managed to finish off that Hearthguard unit, which was pretty awesome. And successful end of turn 4, I'm pretty sure. Here's turn 5. And he's left with a warrior unit and his priest. And his priest only has 1 attack. So I'm feeling pretty good about things, because I've still got all of my Hearthguard with Dane axes. There's 6 of them there, and they haven't done anything yet. So I'm going to probably start using them here real soon. Tim, of course, he's coming up to take care of business, and he's going to make me pay for killing off his Hearthguard, because he's got plenty of warriors there, and they're going to be able to finish off my last 2 Javelin warriors, no problem, which... that's a situation where it hurts, but it is what it is. And there's a whole bunch of attacks he rolls. I'm pretty sure he kills the last 2 remaining guys there, and he's taken away another Saga dice from me. Now he's got his guys in prime position. I don't know if he goes after my Curiad or not. I think he may just leave them be. All right, so now I think I'm down to 5 Saga dice instead of 6. So I am getting my battle board figured out. I think I had a terrible roll too. I think it was like all snakes. So, which is like my 1, 2, and 3, my most common. So I went ahead and took some fatigue off my warlord, and I think he just kind of went up and joined my Hearthguard, because at that point my Hearthguard and then my warlord, I could use We Obey once they joined together, and I was kind of going all out. This is the point where I'm pretty sure I gave him all of his abilities, because he was trying to prevent things. Otherwise, his levels on his board went up, and then he could do super abilities. And at this point, I was like, well, this is his last unit, so I'm just going to cancel out all this crap he's trying to do to me and kill everything. Because I've got 6 Dane Axe Hearthguard there, which is 12 attacks. So here he is. He's getting his levels up, so he's going to really spank me next turn unless I kill all these guys. So I got 12 attacks here, and they're hitting him on 4s instead of 5s because of those Dane axes. And I'm spending some of his fatigue to make it easier to hit him. And here's the big roll, figuring out, what dies and what doesn't. And I think I killed everybody but 2 guys there, which was a really good attack for my Hearthguard. But in the meantime, I'm sitting there, oh, crud, I really kind of left my warlord open. But, it is what it is. So here's Tim on his turn 6 here, because I think we rolled for turn 6 and it went on to turn 6, which was cool. Either that or maybe we rolled for turn 7, I can't remember. But we were just going until we killed each other's complete army off, I'm pretty sure. We at least went to turn 6. So this is top of turn 6, and then I think we got a bottom of turn 6. And so he's moving his warriors up. They got a couple fatigue there, I'm pretty sure. And then he's going after my warlord, which he's got a few of those super pumped up abilities that give him like 1 billion dice at this time. Because the last turn I pumped up all of his abilities on that board. You can see he's spending them. And then I'm fighting back and trying not to die. And it looks like I killed off one of his guys, but then I'm rolling defense dice, and I'm pretty sure he just killed my warlord. So that was a bummer for me. And here's my next turn, my bottom of turn 6. And I only got 3 Saga dice there. Or actually, I think it was 2 Saga dice, and then I got an extra one because I did roll a stag finally. So I used my Saga dice to go after his warlord here. With I think I've got 5 of those Hearthguard left, and so that's 10 attacks. And then I'm spending his fatigue because he spent my fatigue in the previous turn when he was going after my warlord and going after me. Or actually, wait, no, there was a fatigue on me and he was using it against me. So his priest only has 1 attack, so he was trying to kill off my dudes. And then I did a million attacks to him. And I think he rolled just what he needed to not to not make it. But I had 1 more die on the Hearthguard, so I went ahead and spent it to go back into him and try and finish him off. Because before he had a bunch of battle board abilities, as you can see. And there you go. I killed off his priest and his last guy because he was able to absorb that, and that was pretty much it. He was able to absorb 1 extra wound because of that warrior there, and then I had that last attack in me. So bottom of turn 6, a successful victory for the Irish, and I was able to defeat the Jomsvikings that Tim brought. Now I'll tell you what, Tim plays really well at this game, and he was actually wrecking people's lunch with the Jomsvikings. But I just feel like if you're a good player, once you figure the Irish out, they can be a really, really tough force to beat. I feel like I play them decently, at least. I'm sure there's probably quite a few people out there that know tricks to take me down, and there's probably a few battle boards out there that are really good to counter Irish with. However, I feel like I'm really enjoying them. They're very different for me because I usually like to play armies like orcs or smashy armies, kind of like what the Vikings are and the Jomsvikings are in Saga. But when I purchased my Irish, I thought that the models looked cool, and they are kind of like the glass hammer of Saga, where they really can go in there and do a lot of damage. Can't take a lot of damage, but they're very, very good at shooting. And I feel like the javelin in Saga is one of my favorite weapons for sure, because you've just got to deal with that fact that they can shoot you and shoot you and shoot you. I'm also getting some Crusaders ready. I actually did pick up the Crusader miniatures Crusaders. I've got the Crescent and the Cross book, and then I've also got the Adius and Arthur book. So I have some more armies that I'm going to try out. Really enjoying Saga. Really, really enjoying Saga. It's a super fun game. And I encourage any of you out there that want to give it a try, please go and try it out. Very enjoyable game. Very well made. I can't say enough about just how fun it is. We're having a blast with it, the WahooWarrior group. And I'm really looking forward to hopefully playing some Saga at Adepticon next year. They have a grand melee out there, and I really hope to get to play it again. But get to play it for the first time there, but play it, in a big setting like that again, for the millionth time, because I'm pretty sure we're going to keep playing this quite a bit. So thank you for watching, and thank you to Tim, my opponent, for putting up with my super shooty army. Tim's a super great guy, one of my favorite buds to play miniature games with, and I'm sure that I'm going to have a bit of a learning curve with Crusaders when I try them here soon. So the other thing about Saga that I like quite a bit and makes me laugh is I lose quite a bit of my games in bolt action. I'm still feeling out what the proper and perfect army for me is in bolt action. And in Saga, it seems like I've kind of got that army that really gels with my ability to play, and I'm able to really maximize the effectiveness of the Irish. So I don't know whether that's just because they're easy mode and I'm just taking advantage of that, or if I'm just playing them well, which, it could be either of those things. But anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's nice to win a game once in a while because I keep getting clobbered by Sean
Sean and Tim all the time in bolt action. So, um, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and have a great evening, and we will talk to you later. Have a great one, Wahoo Warriors.